Genesis 15 and 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety thy seed shall be a stranger in a land, Thoth is not theirs, and shall serve them, and shall afflict them for 400 years. The first legal infliction of slaves and indentured workers were written into law 1619. The Father in the universe works under law. So at that moment in 1619, the 400-year clock began to wind down. 1619 and 400 years brings us to 2013. Some of you have been erroneously interpreting this time because you're using the Roman Catholic Pope 400 years, which ends in 2019, because they use 365.25 days in a year. But based on your Hebrew, Egyptian, Vedic, Sanskrit, and Mayan custom, you use 360 days per year, as you can see on your screen. The Romans, the Pope, and the Catholic Church were busy changing times and laws in effort to shift the timing of events. Ask Daniel. Daniel 7 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change times and laws. Now Exodus 12 verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. The 400-year sojourning matches Genesis 15 verse 13, but with a 30-year disparity. That is the destruction and the restoration of said nation. From 2013 plus 30 years leads us to 2043. Now, since the year 2020, the war on the people through viruses, vaccines, food, economics, wars, and rumors of wars has been at its highest rate. Never mind the wicked, even the truly elect might not be able to hold them off for that long. But no need for the righteous Jacob and Israel to worry. The Gentile, Caucasian, Esau, Eurocentric elite, and Catholic Church system will be cut short, and it had to be, or there will be none left by 2043. Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Romans 9 and 28. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. America. The 30 years difference will be the time of restoration, Passover, and Exodus to the promised land. But as I said, time will be cut short. Again, the Bible is a book written by the initiates of the past and carried or maintained by what we call the muse, until the true initiates of the future receive it and are able to uncover the deeper mysteries regardless the tampering that has been done over time. The mysteries are concealed in the arts. Even those who try to tamper could only tamper to the level of their understanding. Only those who come with the garment on will unlock the sod. The Bible uses mythology to describe a future time ruled by America from the Alpha to the Omega. But the initiates use characters in mythology, places of a past time, to describe a time far in the future and a future power which was America. For example, study the history of Assyria, and America mirrors its history almost perfectly. So in Genesis 15 and 14, when the initiate inspired by God writes, that nation, indicating a nation, not nations, that Melchizedek or Thoth will judge, there is no mystery, it is America. So when that nation is being judged, where will the righteous exodus? Where will we go? What states? What counties? Where are we moving to? Zechariah 2 and 6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heavens, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 3 and 18. And in those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. Jeremiah 23 and 8. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which will lead the house of Israel out of the north country, which is the states, and from all countries, which is counties, whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Ezekiel 36 and 24. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all the countries, which is counties, and bring you into your own land. You are to move from the north to the south, you the Hebrew people of color, and those Gentiles who have cleaved to the true Hebrews. But where in the south? We should move to our times equivalent to the land of Canaan and the land of Goshen, which is within Egypt, which is America. But the prophecy of the promised land has to be fulfilled, and there's always a beginning, a germ, a spark, the beginning to the manifestation of a prophecy, but timing is key. The 40 acres and a mule was the spark or the beginning of the fulfillment of that prophecy of the promised land, the inheritance that was given unto your fathers. But it was not to be completed post-slavery because of the timing. The clock was set from 1619 to 2013, plus 30 years. So those who know the arts know there is no coincidence that the government went back on their promise to your ancestors. The same reason you were not given worthless money for reparations. The return of your land is your reparation. Same reason Marcus Garvey was not able to carry the so-called blacks back to Africa. Because America was always your home even before the European came to America's shore. You were promised your own nation. Headquarters Military Division of Mississippi in the field Savannah, Georgia, January 16, 1865. Special Field Order Number 15. The islands from Charleston south, the abandoned rice fields along the rivers for 30 miles back from the sea, and the country bordering the St. Johns River, Florida, are reserved and set apart for the settlement of the Negroes now made free by the acts of war and the proclamation of the President of the United States. At Beaufort, Hilton Head, Savannah, Vernon-Dia, St. Augustine, and Jacksonville, the blacks may remain in their chosen or accustomed vocations. Here is the map. The prophecy of the promised land began with the 40 acres and a mule and continued to build through time. From Martin Luther King speaking of it in code only for another initiate to understand it, which I did, and the master initiate of our time, Louis J. Armstrong, mapped out the promised land precisely. Let's begin with Dr. King.